find. Hold
I don't know
on.
if you can hear me, but we are live on Facebook. I might
I
be
need to share
frozen.
music.
I think I'm frozen, but we are live on Facebook. So hello, Facebook.
Hello, Facebook. How are you, Facebook? Happy Julia Parsons' 100th birthday on this March 2nd. Do you know what we need? Ellie, do you know what you could do?
Yeah.
Look up trivia about 1921.
All right. All right.
All right. So in your downtime while I'm gabbing, you do a little trivia and you could throw it out there.
Sounds good. And I think we're ready for the theme music.
Oh, okay. Hold on. I'm in charge of the theme music. I'm sharing my sound. And it's not going. That happens sometimes. Hold on.
Okay.
One more time. Oh, you know what? My sound's
There we go.
Julia Parsons' 100th birthday. We've got a lot of people to let in.
Okay.
We are taking some time letting people in.
You hear them now? Yeah.
I am seeing a lot of people for the first time on Zoom for a while.
Hi. Now I'm always down here. It's whoever pulls in, you're just down here automatically in this corner. Yeah. Is that it?
Yeah, we're not allowed to mute Julia today. Julia remains unmuted no matter what she says. Julia, this is your chance to say whatever the heck you want to say.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you. We can definitely hear you.
Okay.
Welcome everybody to Julia Parsons' 100th birthday party. This is a virtual birthday party brought to you by the Veterans Breakfast Club. I'm Todd DiPastino. I'm the executive director of the Veterans Breakfast Club, and with me is my daughter, Ellie. Hello, Ellie in Chicago.
Hello.
She is helping to engineer this production, and so whatever goes wrong is her fault. And and I'm just here just to celebrate the birthday. And we have a very large group. Ellie, how many people do we have on here on the Zoom side?
Looks like we have 94 of us.
94, and I think we might max out at 100, huh?
We might.
Do we have to add more spaces to our Zoom account?
I think that's probably in our future.
I think that is in our future. Yes. And the good thing is that we are simulcasting 100, George Kinnis, you got it. We are simulcasting on Facebook Live. And so anybody who can't make it here on the Zoom side, okay, I am going to mute Julia. Sorry, Julia, I already broke my first promise to you is already broken. Thank you, everyone, for joining us this evening. We have some people who want to, wish happy birthday to Julia. Give her all your best. Some special greetings along the way. But I thought I would start by just thanking everybody who made our drive-by parade so terrific. I don't know if Julia thinks it was terrific, but I think it was terrific. Julia, and I'm gonna unmute you now, Julia, just because or ask you to unmute. Julia sent me, let me look this up. She sent me an email today. Well, 2 days ago, she sent me an email saying, I don't know whether to adopt you or to put out a hit out on you. And today she sent me a very troubling email that had me a little worried. And all it said was, hold on, I've got to find it here. It said, I think the subject line was, oh, here it is. Subject line was AG, A-G-H-H-H-H-E. And then in the message was, oh boy, Julia. So Julia, what was going on when you wrote that at 9:53 a.m. this morning?
I think I was just overwhelmed with everything. I just thought, boy, I hope I could do this.
I know.
So
I felt badly. I mean, it's the kind of thing, Steph, my wife, hello, Stephanie, who's downstairs. I'm in the attic. She's downstairs. She and I were talking about this, and we were thinking that it's something, and Jim Roberts and I have talked about this, that I think people felt so good to kind of get out there and do something social and good and fun and honor somebody wonderful. And, after a year in semi-captivity, it was just fun to plan something where we could all get together. And I hope Beth Ruschel is on here, because I want to thank everybody who made our wonderful drive-by event so great. And it was many people. And I know I'm gonna forget to thank some people. Mayor Frank Porco, who was contacted by LT Jim Roberts. Thank you, Jim Roberts. He's the mayor of Forest Hills. He made sure that the Forest Hills Police and Fire and EMS departments and Public Works all got out there to lead the parade. I mean, this thing was like, a half mile down the street, a fire truck, police cruisers, trucks, and then probably 25. How many cars would you say, Jim Roberts?
Probably, I'll have a count for you when I finally edit the tape, but probably around 30.
Probably around 30 cars. That's what I thought. About 30 cars, probably just under 100 people, I think. Maybe 80 or 90 people. We had representatives from the Women's Overseas Service League. Beth Ruschel, I just thought about that today. It was Beth Ruschel who said, we should do a drive-by parade. So Julia, you could kill Beth, not me. Okay. It was her idea.
Okay.
We had the wax. It was a good idea, a great idea. We had the Women's Army Corps Veterans Association came out, and the Pittsburgh Naval Recruiting Command did a lot of work, kind of, contacting media. You could blame them too, Julia, contacting media about this. Rick Weber set up a sign. My favorite little factoid, Rick Weber, former company commander in Vietnam, 101st Airborne Division. He set up the sign in the wrong yard. Had to be moved. The Navy Operations Support Center brought a color guard, which was terrific. Came out decked out in their navy blues. Helen Fallon helped get the word out. She's a professor at Point Park. Linda Hartman, who should be here, she had a great idea that we're going to pursue tonight. And then Margaret Brinus, who is one of Julia's daughters, she helped to kind of facilitate all this with the family. And Giant Eagle also helped enormously with getting the word out. So thank to all of you for this wonderful event. Jim Roberts.
One more person, it's Pastor Linda Titus at the Nancy Titus at the Presbyterian Church, who let us use the parking lot. Nancy Titus.
Thank you, Pastor Nancy Titus at the Forest Hills Presbyterian Church. Excuse me? Oh, Nancy Titus, Pastor Nancy Titus, allowed us to use the church parking lot to assemble for this parade. And that was important for a few reasons. Number one, we were able to get all our cars together and get in a line and everything like that. The pastor also, through Donna, donated a beautiful bouquet of balloons, happy birthday balloons. But the most important thing was she allowed some of the older folks in our parade to use the bathroom in the church. And that turned out that was going to make or break that whole parade. I mean, it made it. So thank you very much. That was absolutely terrific. And at this hour here, it is 6:39 here in Pittsburgh. I checked our local news, and I know that WTAE ran a segment on the parade. So what I thought I would do is just to share it for those of you who are out of town, who kind of want to see what it was like. I thought I'd play it, and then we could talk about it. So let me find it here. I should have it. Sometimes I lose things. Let me see here. Okay. Feel free to say something if you want to say something. Okay. No, here it is. I found it. Okay. All right. Hold on. Okay. Here we go. Okay.
Today, the United States Department of Veterans Affairs says roughly 300,000 people who served in World War II are still alive today. And one of those people lives here in Forest Hills. Julia Parsons, in 1943, joined the United States Waves, and today she celebrates her 100th birthday. During World War II, the United States military took in women who wanted to serve. Julia Parsons was among them.
It was patriotic like you can't imagine, and everybody wanted to do something.
Parsons and other women were given clandestine assignments as women accepted for voluntary emergency services in the Navy, also known as Navy Waves. 78 years later, she says she used Enigma codes to intercept German communication to locate their U-boats.
It's one thing to shoot down a submarine, it's another to realize there are human souls in there who are going to die. But then I didn't have to do the shooting.
Today, Parsons' service to her country is celebrated. So too is her 100th birthday. Members of the United States Navy, the Veterans Breakfast Club, and Forest Hills First Responders lead a small but spectacular birthday celebration parade past Parsons' house.
Happy birthday, Julia.
Her neighborhood is abuzz as neighbors hold happy birthday banners with balloons, gifts, and cards. Parsons and her family take in the spectacle with a heart of gratitude. Happy birthday to you. 100 years old, Parsons says she still finds joy in life because of moments like this.
Absolutely, absolutely. I've enjoyed every bit of it. Nice things keep happening. It was all very exciting. I had a very good life.
Happy birthday to Julia. Happy birthday to you.
In Forest Hills, Sheldon Ingram, Pittsburgh's Action News 4.
Oh, that was fun. That was fun. Whoop.
Thank you.
You know, and I thought I realized that we posted the start time of this party maybe in one or two places as 7 p.m. So I'm anticipating we're going to have more people, although we are maxed out at 100, aren't we, Ellie? So anybody who joins us will be joining us then on the Facebook side or on YouTube. But I thought I would before we started, if Julia doesn't have whatever Julia wants to say, she could certainly say, but I thought we would have members, maybe if there are members of Julia's family who are here, who are checking in with us from Pittsburgh or from elsewhere. You could feel free to unmute yourself and identify yourself and let us know who you are. Okay.
Happy birthday, Grandma Judy from Parsons down in Charleston.
Oh,
Garrett and Campbell say happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
oh, hi, Gracie. Oh,
Plus we're right here. I'll say happy birthday.
Happy birthday. Garrett, Garrett, say it. Garrett, say it. Garrett.
he looks so puzzled.
We love you, Grandma. Happy 100th birthday.
Thank you. Thank
We're
you.
very
you so
very
much.
proud.
Oh,
I wanted to wish you a happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
thank you.
Oh.
We gotta get these guys. Yeah.
Hi, happy birthday.
Oh,
The little baby.
Oh my gosh, I just
Get them in here.
Jesse's on the Zoom right now. Oh, Jesse. He's saying happy birthday.
We just heard from Brian. How do we get on here?
You are on, Margaret.
Oh, I am.
Yes, we hear you.
Great. We were part of the whole parade. So happy birthday. She's sitting right across the street, right across the room from me. Happy birthday.
So, Margaret, how angry are you at us for the
Not
spectacle?
at all. It was
Happy birthday, Grandma
wonderful.
Judy.
We had
From
the best
Scott,
time.
Grace, Annabelle, and
Oh,
Hannah.
there's Scott. Okay.
Wait, who's
One. There's Scott. Yeah.
Hi, Scott. What is your relationship to Julia? I'm going to ask you to unmute.
Grandmother.
You're Julia's grandson.
Yes.
Did you always know that your grandmother was a hero?
I'd say it's we've all found out more and more about it in the last 10 years.
Yeah, I would imagine. And I mean, it must be stunning for you to, you know.
Happy birthday to
That's the 2-year-old.
That's terrific. Great grandchildren or grandchildren, great grandchildren. How terrific.
Yeah, no, it's a fascinating story, and I've gotten books on it. It's very, very captivating. We're very, very proud to call her grandma.
Thank you. Yeah, and thank you for joining us, Scott. This is wonderful. And I thought I would, if there are other family members who want to kind of, you know, introduce themselves, that would be terrific. Those of you who don't know the Veterans Breakfast Club and who I am, I'm Todd. I'm not a veteran, but I am the director of the Veterans Breakfast Club, and we're a nonprofit in Pittsburgh that holds events where veterans can come together and share their story. And I met Julia several years ago, 10 years ago, when the Veterans Breakfast Club was really just beginning. And I was, of course, you know, flabbergasted by her story. And I think her story was one of the first that really taught me in an important way that a lot of the important work that's done, not only in World War II, but also just in the military generally, is behind the scenes. Some of the most important work is done not on the battlefield, you know, not in combat heroics, but the hard work done behind the scenes to make sure that those who are at the tip of the spear have what they need to win. And that's the kind of job that Julia did. And it just fascinates me. I wonder if we have any women here, veterans who, especially Navy veterans, who might want to pay special tribute to Julia, because she is a pioneer in so many ways. You know, a woman who women's roles were very restricted in 1943 when Julia joined the Navy.
Absolutely.
Who do we have here?
Carol Allums.
Hi, Carol. How are you?
I'm wonderful, and I'm so happy to be able to attend your party.
This is great. So you're a veteran.
Absolutely. My mom was the military. She was the Navy for World War II. She was a storekeeper 2nd class, and I was a journalist 2nd class during the Vietnam era.
How about that? You were a journalist.
Yes, I was a broadcast journalist in Japan, Misawa, Japan.
That must have been a great job.
Absolutely, but I didn't get. That was the end of my career. I started out as a seaman at a mine force at the admiral staff, and then I went into helicopters, and then I got my 3rd class journalist and decided to go to Japan and find out where my dad was in the Navy at. So I ended up marrying an Air Force dude and getting out with a daughter.
How about that? So you married up, huh?
No, I married down.
Sorry about that. That's a bad joke. That was a bad
No,
joke.
that's okay. That's okay. He's not here.
So, you know, I think if you were to ask Julia about what the Navy did for I've heard her say, and she said to me several times that she almost feels embarrassed to, you know, be congratulated for her service because she feels that she got so much more out of the Navy than she ever gave it. Would you feel that same way, that you got a lot out of your Navy service?
Absolutely. And I'm proud to say thank you for your service to anybody that has a hat that says military. I don't care what it is, but she did a good job by starting the road for me to join.
Exactly.
And I'm one of the last waves. I went in as a WAVES. I just didn't have the tabs on my uniform like my mom did, but I was away through and through, and I couldn't wait till I turned 18, and I couldn't go then. My mom told me I had to wait for 2 years. So I turned 20. My birthday was June 10. I was in by June. My birthday was June 2, and I went in by June 10. So it didn't take very long to get in, and I loved every second of it.
Oh, isn't that great? Carol, thank you so much. We'd love to have you come back to a Veterans Breakfast Club event anytime and share stories of your service, talk about your service.
Thank you. And thank you, Julia. And I hope you have another 100 more.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I do, Ellie, if you could put in the Zoom chat here and also on the Facebook Live chat, the links to the veteransbreakfastclub.org. This Zoom link is the same link that we use for every one of our events. We hold 3 live events a week where we do just this. Veterans come together, they share their stories, and all ages, all eras, all branches of service. We have a Monday night happy hour. We have a Wednesday morning, so 9 a.m. tomorrow morning, we'll be back here with a coffee hour. Thursday evening, we have a program especially for post 9/11 veterans. And then increasingly, it looks like we're having a Tuesday night event too for the World War II generation. So you could join us. Anybody, we really want non-veterans to join us because we think these stories need to be shared. I know Nancy Velez, I know that you're a Navy veteran. Good to have you join us.
Hi.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you. Happy birthday, Julia. It is a pleasure to be here. A little bit about me. My name is Nancy Velez. I'm originally from Castle Shannon, PA, but I live down here in Washington, D.C., and I work in the Pentagon for the chairman of the Joint Chiefs. I joined the Navy in 1988, 45 years after my aunt, who was also a Navy wave. She's from Bethel Park. She convinced me to join and give me a future. But I just wanted to tell you, happy birthday, and thank you for paving the way for women everywhere so that I and me and so many other people and so many other women could serve so proudly and create a future for ourselves and for years to come. What you did with the Enigma machine is amazing. There's one displayed in the Pentagon. I'm not going to be able to walk by it without thinking about you every day. And I just wanted to say, God bless you and happy 100th birthday. Thank you.
Thank you, Nancy. Oh my gosh. Julia, you could chime in anytime you want. I don't want to step on you here. But I also don't want to force you to talk either. You might have talked yourself out these last several days. I know for a fact that Julia had 4 interviews Thursday, 4 interviews Friday, interviews Saturday, interviews Sunday, interviews yesterday, and of course, interviews today. So she may be all talked out. Benjamin Dobbs, how are you? Good to see you. Thank you for joining us. You're with the Pittsburgh Recruiting Command, Naval Recruiting Command. You did so much to make this parade so wonderful, including getting the color guard. Thank you so much for joining us.
Absolutely, my honor. Happy birthday once again, Julia. This was an amazing day. I as well am I'm a mass communication specialist, formerly JO. So, but these are the stories that we love to cover. Really, I'm very excited about the imagery that I was able to get. Julia, what I really appreciated today was the interaction that you had with our junior sailors, our E6 and below, speaking to MA2, Master at Arms Specialist Second Class Magnus, as well as YN1 SA. Just for them to be able to speak to you and have the back and forth and to be able to ask you those questions. It was remarkable for me to just kind of sit there like a fly on the wall and document with my camera. Todd, I do have those images up on the Navy Talent Acquisition Group Pittsburgh page. I've tagged you if you want to, take a look at those. I have a video as well as photos up. And I just want to say thank everybody for making this a wonderful day.
Petty Officer Dobbs, if you could put the link to those photos here in the Zoom chat so that anybody could check them out, that'd be terrific. Thank you so much for all the work that you did. And I am going to be contacting you. I'd love to have you come on our program sometime and talk about your own service and your own career and what it's like to be a recruiter.
Okay, absolutely. I'm
getting. You know the one question that I like to ask recruiters?
Forgive me, Todd, but I think Channel 2 is going to end their newscast in a few minutes with Julia's story.
Oh, okay. Boy, I wish I had the technology to share that.
Yeah, really.
But we'll share it. We'll be sharing it tomorrow morning in our virtual breakfast.
Here they go.
Can you narrate it? This will be like 1921, the year Julia was born. There was radio, but it would be a baseball game, and somebody at the baseball game would telegraph to an announcer in a studio, and the announcer would have to say what was happening on the field, hundreds of miles away. So that's kind of what you're doing.
He could turn his iPad toward his television. He could turn his iPad toward his television. I'm not in Pittsburgh.
How are you? And and Mary sent such a touching email. I thought it was very touching because Mary lives in Baltimore, and I've never met her. Julia's never met her. Oh, there it is. There it is. Let's spotlight here. Let me spotlight. Let's spotlight for everybody. Can't hear it, but we're seeing those images. There's the color guard. All right, Chris, thank you. We'll remove the spotlight. We don't need to see that mustache.
They mentioned our party. They mentioned our party right now, and it was a very well put together piece there.
Well, very good.
Without stand up, like
I will share it tomorrow morning.
Together piece.
I'll share it tomorrow morning at our VBC coffee hour. I see another woman veteran, Dawn Rucker. Thank you for joining us. Dawn, I know that you're very good friends with Julia. You're very devoted to her. What does her 100th birthday mean to you?
Hi, Julia. Happy birthday. We spent Sunday, was it Sunday evening together? Saturday evening? I forget. We had a lovely dinner and a glass of wine and told stories. Julia is a remarkable person I met just a few years ago. And I said to her, I think I served in the Army, went to West Point and was commissioned in 1982. I don't think that my generation of women fully appreciates just how courageous Julia's generation was. They had extreme barriers to overcome, much more extreme than anything I ever experienced. And Julia just has this incredible love of life and this incredible attitude that keeps her going and made her an awesome member of the American team at a time we really needed it. So anyway, she's a dear friend, and I hope to see her real soon. So happy birthday again, Julia. We're gonna think of something fun to do next year on the 101st anniversary of your birth.
Yes, definitely. We're going to double the size of that parade. Dawn, you're a West Point graduate. I don't know, were you one of the early graduating classes from West Point that graduated women?
Are you going to make me reveal my age?
I am, kind of. That's kind of what I'm hitting at. What I'm trying to suggest is that you're also kind of a pioneer. Doesn't mean you're old. It just means, well.
Yeah, no, I was in the third class of women, so that makes me 60 years old, 60 years young. And yeah, but obviously a lot of the barriers were gone by the time I entered service because they were legislatively removed, right? Congress said, and the president signed, that the academies will be open to women. So there were social barriers at that point. But many other tough barriers were gone. And it's because I stand on the shoulders of giants like Julia.
Right, right. Absolutely. Evelyn Moy, I see that you have your hand up. Thank you. Good to meet you. And thank you for joining us. You could unmute yourself.
Yes, hi. Happy birthday, Miss Julia. My name's Evelyn Moy. I served in the Navy for 31 years. I'm prior enlisted. I came in as a DM2. They don't have them anymore. Instead, they're MCs now. So I'm so happy to see so many MCs and our journalists, photographers online. I just want to extend a very, very happy birthday to Miss Julia. My dad served in World War II, and many of my clan, the Moy clan, Moy Family Association clan, they were in Germany, France, Italy. So your work had a tremendous impact on them as the United States was in the war. So I'm also, after 31 years, after 8 years, I received direct commission. So I retired as a commander. And so I'm also part of American Legion Post 20. So on behalf of American Legion Post 20, we want to extend you a very, very happy, happy birthday. And you're a trailblazer, and we follow in your footsteps. Thank you.
Wonderful, Evelyn. And where is American Legion Post 20?
Oh, we're at the National Press Club. So if I could invite everyone to go onto the National Press Club page, we have a Zoom on the 8th on the Tomb of the Unknowns. But today we celebrate Miss Julia and for all that she did, just totally awesome. I was at the I'm a public affairs officer, and we were at a luncheon, and Liz Mundy was there, and she talked about the Code Girls, and I have the book, so I definitely know what she did. And just thank you from the bottom of my heart.
How terrific. Thank you for joining us, Evelyn. And I'll just say the same to you that I've said to others. You'd be welcome to join us. Would love to hear about your 31 years of service on any of our Veterans Breakfast Club programs. That's what we're all about, is gathering veterans just to share in this community of stories. So please do join us again.
Yeah, thank you, Todd.
And also in the chat, Evelyn, if you want to put the link to your post website so that people can visit it if they'd like, that would be terrific. Do we have John Wodarick with us from the Steelers? John, are you with us? I can't see. I don't see him here. John may not have, he may not have gotten in the room. That's the problem. We're maxed out. Jim Jameson, were you going to say something?
Yeah, KDK is going to carry Julia again in the 7:30 hour newscast.
Okay, very good.
It's in the chat.
It's in the chat. Okay, that's great. I just want to share the first one of a few tributes that we have here. This one is from, and this is going, I'm going to, I have several tributes that I want to share, but I thought I would do it in order of importance. And because this is Pittsburgh, the Steelers are first always. So this is from Art Rooney II, who's president of the Steelers. And he writes to Julia, "Dear Julia, our friends at the Veterans Breakfast Club have shared with us that you will be celebrating your 100th birthday in March. On behalf of the Pittsburgh Steelers organization, I would like to extend best wishes to you for a wonderful 100th birthday. Thank you for your service to our country with the United States Navy Waves. Your story and accomplishments are impressive and commendable. From the team and staff of the Pittsburgh Steelers, thank you and all the best on your 100th birthday." Very nice.
That was nice.
Yeah. Almost makes up for that horrible season. Julia, I was fascinated to learn today that you were not only in the Navy, you were also, before you were in the Navy, you were in the Army.
Yes, I thought that I had told everyone that. I had to go back. I had to go back to college and take 2 or 3 college courses. I can't remember anymore. College algebra, trigonometry, and something else I had never had. And I thought this would be a really interesting job, checking the gauges that were used in the steel mills to produce the missiles and shells and so on. And after so many uses, they would be out of kilter and have to be reset. So that was our job. And I thought it would be fascinating, but unfortunately it turned into an assembly line type of thing. And we would do 1,000 of the same instrument, the same gauge every time. And it got kind of boring. And I thought there'd got to be something more. And that's when I found out about the Navy and the waves. And I left. I got in trouble for it because the Army didn't want to let me go. They said this was a war job. People could not just leave jobs in those days. If it was a war-connected job, you had to finish there. There was no ifs, ands, or buts. But the Navy went out over the Army. They said I'd already signed, and they had me all set up for whatever. And the Army did let me go then, so that worked out well.
And so the Army did not want to let you go, but they finally did let you go to the Navy, and that changed the course of your life. That is so great. So the Army can claim you also. That's good to know. That's good to know. Let me see here. If anybody else wants to chime in with a special thank you, a message, especially if it's somebody from, out of town who hasn't met Julia before, or hasn't been part of the Veterans Breakfast Club before, would love to just say hello. Hey, Rick Arisman, how are you?
We're good, thanks. On behalf of the Heinz History Center, we want to wish Julia a happy 100th. She has been an integral part of our Eyewitness to History U.S. Military Veteran Experience class representing World War II. She has shared her experiences with school students for the past several years, and I hope she will continue. In fact, I'll be contacting her after she is recuperated from this event about a Zoom class. So again, Julia, happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Julia.
I see another educator here on Zoom, Dick Williams. I have not seen you for over a year, and I'm so glad that I finally pulled you into the Zoom world kicking and screaming. Dick Williams taught history for many years in the Pittsburgh area, and it's just great to see you coming into Zoom to pay tribute to Julia.
Thanks. I'd just like to say, Julia, I taught an oral history course, and you would have been a tremendous interview. You are the greatest generation, and I am so happy that women in general are getting the deserves that they should have in all wars. And you add a great part to history. No doubt men did too, but women have a different point of view from time to time. And I applaud you and the interviews that you've given, because my students would have truly enjoyed you. So happy birthday, and want to see you get another 100. I couldn't be to the parade today because I got my second COVID shot and my arm's a little sore. Todd, last thing, of all the organizations that I'm in right now, you have accomplished the Zoom more than all of them. So I applaud you and the Veterans Breakfast Club for recording history, and the best type of history, oral history. Thanks, Todd. Thanks.
Thank you, Dick. Thank you, Dick. Absolutely. And I want to thank my lovely bride, Stephanie Ross. Thank you, Steph, for putting up with me and for living with me for this in this COVID year. I think she's very grateful that we have Zoom, because it means I get to go up in the attic and get out of her hair instead of bothering her. So, and I promised her that there would be cake for this birthday. So we'll have the cake later, Steph. All right.
You did bring me a nut roll, but I couldn't help but notice that you like nut rolls and I don't. So
just a crazy coincidence.
Happy birthday, Julia. I just typed into the chat that my 8th grade student, I teach 8th grade at our local middle school, and my students hear your story every year. And we have a group of girls called Girls Who Code, and they in particular just revere you and love hearing about you. So thanks for being such an inspiration to everybody, but particularly young women.
And that brings me to, do we have Linda Hartman on tonight? We may not. Linda, oh boy. Once again, we may be maxed out here on the Zoom side, because, and I think this is going to be a problem. I know that there were many members of this team, robotics team, an all-female Girls of Steel robotics team, high school kids. It's sponsored by Carnegie Mellon University. And Linda was their coach. And Julia is this team's inspiration point. I mean, she is I was tempted to use the term mascot, but that would be the wrong word. I know. She is she's the inspiration of the team, and they like to check in with her and see how she's doing. And they know your story, Julia, really well. And they also know that the reason that they can do the kinds of, wonderful robotics work that they do is because of people like you, who struggled 75 years ago for the right to do this kind of work. And Linda invited the team to come on to pay you tribute. And now I'm concerned that our Zoom room is filled. And so they may just be watching this on Facebook Live, and maybe they could get in touch with you later about it, but I wanted to make sure.
Todd,
Yes.
can you hear Flo?
Oh, hey, Flo.
Okay, I just want to tell you if you can still hear me.
Yes.
Linda just texted me and she said that the girls couldn't get on, said meeting was full. So they took a picture, which they're going to send to you to forward to Julie. And I was there at the Girls of Steel when Julie was there with her presentation, and they just fell in love with her and were so, I believe they were filled with a lot of hope and energy, knowing that they could accomplish anything too if she was able to do that
Oh.
years ago.
Well, I was so happy to be there with them. And when I started my speech to them, I said I had more questions for them than they had for me. I can't imagine girls of their age having to dream up a whole robot themselves and make it work and enter the competitions. They were just amazing. They did everything.
Yes, they did.
They draw up their designs. They had their own lathe work, their own wood press, everything. They did it all, and I just was absolutely amazed.
It's a
lovely girls.
Wonderful organization for the girls that really gives them a lot of ideas, and many of them gone forward into robotics and engineering and aerospace. So it's been a wonderful, wonderful organization.
It's wonderful to see you, Flo. Thank you for joining us. Flo was my mom's best friend growing up in McKees Rocks Bottoms. Thank you, Flo. I love you. It means a lot for you to be here. Betsy Tanner, you have your hand up.
Can you hear me?
We can, yes.
Julia, I'm the president of the American Red Cross Overseas Association. And as of mid-fall, we had about 16 members that had served in World War II overseas. We've lost a couple since then, but we had a Zoom with Jane Healy, who wrote the book. It's a novel, The Beantown Girls, but it's based on Red Cross women working the clubmobile overseas. And we had a really good time with her, but we certainly love our World War II people, and we wanted to wish you a happy 100th birthday.
Thank you. I tried to get into that organization, but unfortunately I had not served overseas. So the Waves were not allowed to go overseas at that point. So
yeah.
they wouldn't accept me.
As an associate member, if you'd like to, Todd can get in touch with me and in touch with you if you'd like to become an honorary associate member. We'd love to have you.
Thank you. I might just do that.
Okay, we'll set that up.
Right.
Absolutely. Definitely. Yes, I'll put you in touch. Doug Lingenfelder, you have a story to share about Julia. Let's see, Doug. Doug.
Yes, sir. This is Doug Langenfelder.
How are you?
Doing well, thank you. Julia, several years ago at the Tet Offensive reunion, it was my pleasure to drive you home. And I'd like the folks to recognize the fact that although Julia may be a wonderful interview, if you've never spent private time or one-on-one time with her, you'd realize how extensive her Intel background really is, because she's really interviewing you, even if you think you're interviewing her. And it was such a pleasure being with her, but she's just so humble and is just so perceptive. I just can't tell you all what a pleasure, what a wonder this woman is. And thank you for all you've done for our nation. God bless you, Julia.
I'm going to unmute you, Julia, here.
Getting muted.
I muted you because we were getting feedback for some reason.
Oh. Okay. Yes. Was that did you have the electric car that night?
I had a hybrid car.
Hybrid. That was the first one I had driven in or been a passenger in, I should say. And I was impressed.
When we started out, there was absolutely no noise. And she's sort of looking at me like, what's going on here?
Yeah, is the car going?
Doug, my apologies, Doug. I didn't remember meeting you that night. I was there, of course, and I know that you drove all the way. The Tet party was in Aliquippa and Hopewell, and you drove Julia there and brought her back home. Thank you for that.
No, it was my honor, truly.
Yeah, well, Dawn had brought me to Aliquippa, but it was nice that she didn't have to go all the way from North Park to Pittsburgh to bring me back home again. And so this worked out beautifully. It was my pleasure. So,
hey, we have Sam. I'm sorry, Dawn.
No, I was going to say, I was actually impressed that Julia would get in the car with a strange man to ride home.
I didn't think he was strange. Not only that, but he sent me flowers for my birthday that year. That was what, 3 years ago, maybe?
Thanks a lot, Doug.
Something like that. I've forgotten.
Your memory never ceases to amaze me, Julia.
Oh, thank you.
Doug makes us all look bad. Ellie, kick Doug out, please. So we have Sam from the Red Cross. Jean, Christy. Sam, I know that you. Let's see. Do you want to?
I wonder if Bernice got in.
She's there. Yeah.
Sorry.
Bernice. Did you say Bernice? Okay. Bernice, I can't pronounce your last name. Let's see here. Why don't you unmute?
Ouija Scoog is her name.
Ouija Scoog. Well, thank you for joining us, Bernice. Oh, there you go.
Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Oh, hi. Happy birthday. We made it.
Thank you. Thank you. And Donald, hi. How are you?
Jag må leva till 100 år.
Yeah.
Yes, 100 years.
We sent you the Ouija family birthday song that's famous all over Scandinavia. And our son realized that today that there's a line in it. It says, we send it to everybody. Long shall you live to be 100 years. Well, we need a new song because change it to long shall you live to be 150 years. But we are so happy to know you and love you and be with you today. And Todd, what a fabulous job you've done.
Fantastic.
Thank you so much. And we feel like family. We go back so long. So thank you for your service and for giving me my dear and wonderful friend, Margaret. And we're just so happy and happy birthday to you.
Oh, thank you so much.
Oh, great. Missy Nicholson.
Thank you.
Hey, Missy, why don't you unmute yourself? I see you have your hand raised.
Hi, Judy. This is not Missy Nicholson. This is Nancy Hall. Missy is my daughter. Nancy Hall, now living in Grafton, Massachusetts. Remember many happy times with you and Dawn, Penny and Bob, and Bill and I. So I just want to say happy 100th birthday to you.
Oh, thank you, Nancy. I wondered where that happened to you. There's nobody to check on us anymore. Nobody's still around.
That's right. Well, I've lived here in Grafton for 26 years now, and it's a wonderful place.
Oh, great.
So, yes, and I am so glad to see you looking wonderful and sounding so good. 100 years old. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'll let somebody else in here now.
I see in the chat that Ellie put that the National Museum of the American Sailor says on Facebook, Happy birthday from all of us at the National Museum of the American Sailor at Naval Station Great Lakes. That is so great.
And is. I've never been there, and I would love to go.
Oh, and this would be a lovely time of year to go to Great Lakes, I'm sure. Do some marching. Yeah, get up at 5 in the morning. What time?
Yeah.
Now, where did you do your boot camp, Julia?
Well, I didn't do a boot camp. I went to Smith College for the officers training, which I guess is not much different than boot camp. So we marched and we exercised and we complained, and it was an interesting time, though.
Did you have to be qualified on a weapon?
No. They never mentioned guns or cannons or anything.
Yeah, you're way too smart for that. Let's see. I'm so many of these tributes. We'll have to, Ellie, we'll have to save the chat and send it to Julia, because so many people are wishing her happy birthday here. This is so great.
Oh, tell Henry that I did get his card and thank him very much. I must have gotten 70 birthday cards. I have no idea how many. And they were all so nice. And people said such clever things. And the woman who sent me the lottery tickets, I won $5.
Carol
Pretty good.
Popchak. Hey, way to go, Carol. That's terrific. My daughter Libby, did you send Julia a card? My 20-year-old daughter?
I did not.
You did not.
But happy
All right.
birthday, Julia.
Thank you, Libby.
Oh man, boy, do I embarrass my kids. Henry Shepke. Hey, Henry. I know you're not the youngest because we have a 2-year-old on, but you're one of our younger members here today. I thought you could, if you want to unmute yourself and say hello and wish Julia happy birthday, you can. And Beth Ruschel.
Hello, Julia.
Oh, hey, Henry.
I just want to say that you're a real inspiration. And thank you for all you've done for our country. And I hope you're having a good birthday.
I certainly am, and thank you very much, Henry. And I hope your autograph collection continues to grow. So.
It will.
I want to thank Beth Ruschel again for coming up with the idea. I don't know if you were on earlier, Beth, when I said that you are the one to blame for the parade. It was your idea. You came up with it. If Julia, if it was all too much, then you're to blame, not me. So, but thank you, Beth, really for that. I would never have come up with that, and I really am grateful that you did. And I want to go to Scott Masters. Scott is a history teacher in Toronto, and he had the great pleasure of interviewing Julia with his high school class. And if you want to put the link to that interview into those materials, it's a wonderful collection, Scott.
Thank you for that. I'll send that along in a few moments. Julia, it's nice to see you. Happy birthday. The students wanted to wish you a happy birthday as well, and they are learning from your example even as we speak. I told them to watch it a little bit tonight to refresh themselves.
How terrific. How terrific. And Scott will put in the chat here on the Zoom side the wonderful interview that he did with Julia. And also, I did an interview with Julia 8 or 9 years ago. And maybe, Ellie, if you want to put the link to that in the chat, that would be terrific too, because it really is a memorable one. And George Kniss suggests that somebody put links to the context of Julia's story. And we do have some of that context too, of the Navy waves, the creation of the waves, the creation of the wax, women's role in the military, the Enigma Machine, and then Julia's own story we put up on our blog a couple days ago. And Ellie, if you want to put that up, or put that link in the chat, I should say, on the Facebook side, on the Zoom side, that would be great. I want to also let you know that this man, you may have seen him before. He's Army General Mark Milley. He's the chair of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. He is sending you a letter, Julia. It's not in the mail yet, but it'll be getting to you. So I don't have a copy of the letter. I thought that I might by tonight, but I do know him, at least, know of him, I should say, well enough to know why he was so moved by your story and touched by your 100th birthday. He said, both my parents were part of the greatest generation and proudly served in World War II. My mother served with the Navy at a hospital in Seattle, taking care of the wounded returning from overseas. My father was in the 4th Marine Division and made the assault landings at Kwajalein, Saipan, Tinian, and Iwo Jima. And although both have passed on, I carry their example of integrity and selfless service as daily inspiration. The idea behind America and the oath every service member takes to uphold it is one we have not only sworn to protect and defend, but it's the idea that we've all said we are willing to die for. It's also an idea that we should all be willing to live for, regardless of the cost to ourselves. So I look forward to you getting that letter from General Mark Milley.
Oh, that's lovely. Thank you so much.
Chair of the Joint Chiefs. How terrific. Oh my. If anybody else has any tribute, oh, hey, Mary Jo, how are you? Here you go. You could unmute.
Hi, Judy. I want everybody to know that Judy has had another career beyond the ones we've talked about tonight.
Unmute.
Go ahead, Mary Jo.
She was an English teacher at North Allegheny High School, along with me and my college roommate, Marilyn Friends, who lives in California and is with us tonight. And when Marilyn comes back into Pittsburgh to visit me, we go over and have lunch with Judy, where she continues to educate us. We love spending time with you, Judy.
Oh, thanks, Mary Jo. Good to see you again.
Great to see you. Marilyn, is Marilyn still here? Marilyn Friends.
I am still here.
Oh, there you are. How are you?
You have your hand raised, yes.
Judy and I have been friends for 40 years. We taught at North Allegheny together, and she was an inspiration to many students there as well. And it's the 60s also. As she said, we were college roommates, and we'd love to go over and see Judy every time I go back to Pittsburgh every couple of years. So thank you for everything, Judy. As I always tell her, she's my role model. You know, if she can do it, we should be able to
thank
do
you.
that.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Marilyn.
Absolutely.
You're welcome.
A role model. A role model for so many people, including Major General Jan Edmonds. General, wonderful to have you with us tonight. You emailed me saying that you would like to join our event tonight, and I emailed it. Well, I'll say later what I said in an email to you. Thank you for joining us, Jan.
Well, thank you, Todd, and happy birthday, Julia. I want to pass on my congratulations for your birthday from the Military Women's Memorial in Washington, D.C. In 1980s, early, a lot of World War II women got together and decided that they were not being fully recognized for their service, so they banded together to get legislation passed to authorize a memorial to military women. The World War II women were very responsible for the creation of the memorial that sits at the entryway to Arlington National Cemetery. Julia is one of our charter members, and therefore she is responsible in a large way with these other women for creating the only memorial in the nation that honors the service of all military women. As a charter member, we keep her history on file as part of our register, but we also have another program that we use to honor the service of special women who've had a greater impact on the trailblazing of roads for women to serve. The Living Legend Program. Living Legend Program recognizes the women whose story provide inspiration and example for all who have served. They're stories of ordinary women who've done extraordinary things. and sacrificed for our freedoms. So tonight, the Military Women's Memorial would like to present Julia with a Living Legend Award. If you go ahead to the next slide. Just for a matter of interest, this is what Julia's registration looks like in our database at the Women's Memorial. So she's part of a national memorial that recognizes and preserves the history of military women. Any woman who has served is eligible to be registered for free at the Women's Memorial. As I said, Julie is a charter member, so she's been with us for a very long time, and we will preserve her history in our records in perpetuity. By the way, I heard the lady from the USO overseas. My mother, or the American Red Cross overseas, my mother served in the Red Cross in World War II. As a woman who served in the Red Cross overseas in Germany in World War II, she is also eligible to register. So she is registered in our national database. So if any of your members fall in that category, we would love to tell their story. The Living Legend Proclamation, if you go ahead to the next slide, is a program we started to make sure that we fully recognize the contribution of amazing women through history, and to do that while they're still with us. So the Living Legend program is a program that's only been, probably about 10 proclamations have been awarded across the country. And I'm going to go ahead and read the proclamation. Whereas the Military Women's Memorial is the only national memorial dedicated to preserving and promoting the history of women's military service. Whereas the Military Women's Memorial is dedicated to honoring women's contributions to the defense of our nation and inspiring the next generation of leaders through the example of our great women patriots. And whereas we engage the public in the history of women's military service through the ages by preserving the stories of individual women who have served from the Revolutionary War until today. Now, therefore, I do proclaim that Lieutenant Junior Grade Julia Mary Parsons, United States Navy Waves, is to be hereafter recognized as a Military Women's Memorial Living Legend for her service in the Navy as a code breaker in a top secret project to intercept and decode German submarines traffic in World War II. Her service was vital to Allied success in ending the war, and she helped blaze a trail for future generations of military women to follow. Given on the occasion of her 100th birthday, signed and sealed the 2nd day of March, 2021. Phyllis J. Wilson, CW5 retired, President, Women in Military Service for America Memorial Foundation. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. It's an honor. I appreciate it.
I just want you to know that this is not just a Pittsburgh thing. And by the way, I grew up in Montoursville, Pennsylvania, and went to school at Edinburgh and Erie. So I am a little bit of a Pennsylvania. But I'm a military brat. I got there late. But I was reading a news collection service this morning. It's called the Defense News, or Early Bird, for anybody who's ever been at the Pentagon. And it's read all over the world by military people and civilians. So it's read everywhere. Hundreds of thousands of people read this news clipping service every day. And this morning, when I was reading it, I read an article about your birthday. So it made the news all over the world in the military's #1 clipping service that everybody who is anybody knows to read every morning by 6 o'clock.
Oh my goodness.
So congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you again.
We'll be forwarding your proclamation on to you in hard copy, but I wanted to make sure that we had it available to read for your birthday tonight. So from the Military Women's Memorial, thank you for your service. Thank you for leading the way, and thank you for being responsible for building a memorial that honors the service of all women who have served throughout history.
Well, thank you.
Thank you, Jan. That is so great.
Todd?
Yes, Jim.
I sent you a PDF of that article this morning.
Yes, I saw it on military.com.
Pass it on Julie, if you will.
Okay, will do. I will do that. Meg, did you have something you wanted to say? Meg Dooley?
Yes, absolutely. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yes.
My Mrs. Parsons, you were my favorite teacher of all time.
You taught me grammar. You taught me how to diagram sentences. I appreciate reading and writing. And my mom, who's almost as old as you are, is also on here, Nancy Hall. I'm Megan Hall, not Meg.
Oh, Megan, I didn't recognize you. I didn't get your name.
Old. What do you think?
Oh, I'm just amazed. I'm just amazed. I last saw you in a restaurant in Pittsburgh somewhere, and I forget where it was.
Yeah, I think it was TGI Fridays or something.
No, it was better than that.
Oh, good. Thank goodness. I don't remember it either. I don't remember much these days, but you apparently do.
Yeah.
I try. Sometimes I forget, though.
I can't tell you how much I brag about my 10th grade English teacher who was a code breaker. Have you seen the book Code Girls?
Yes. That was my office. After I started reading it, in fact, my grandson-in-law, who is here, and his wife, my granddaughter, gave me the copy of that for Christmas. But I was so amazed to find the names of the people that I worked with, and this was before I got into the office.
Oh.
But it's exactly it, and I was so thrilled. I immediately emailed Liza Mundy, the author, and asked if she could give me names of any of the people, addresses, so I could get in touch with them again. And unfortunately, they had all died. There was nobody, none of them were living. It was sad. And she had gotten all her information from their children and from papers they had written, that sort of thing. And that's what but she made them sound so alive that I thought they were all still living.
Oh.
And I was we all got separated somewhere. We used to have a mammoth round robin letter going, but over the years it died out, and that was the end of it. And I lost track of all of them. So, but it's great to see you, Megan. I can't believe you're.
Great to see you too. You look so wonderful and you sound so great. I want you to meet Mom. You remember Nancy Hall?
Yeah, she was on a little earlier tonight.
Oh, you're already on there, Mom? Oh, for heaven's sakes. Okay, excuse me.
Yeah.
Hey, when you're late to the party, that's
great to see you.
Oh, did you ever know Kyle Durston? Do you remember her?
Uh-huh.
Well, I am Kyle Catanzarite, and I was in Judy's 9th grade English class, and all those many years after I left school and she moved out of the country, I would drive past her house in Vine and wonder whatever became of Mrs. Parsons on my way to school. And lo and behold, 2 years ago, she popped up on the front page of the Post-Gazette.
Mm-hmm.
And I was looking at her and thinking, that woman looks familiar. Now remember, I had not seen her since she left North Allegheny in 1968. So I read the caption and I thought, how many Julia Parsons on the planet could there be? So I took a chance. I sent her a letter and I said, you may or may not remember me, but you did sign my yearbook in 1967. And, sure enough, she remembered me. So I said to her, I'm so grateful that I found you. And she said, but I was never lost. Typical. So anyway, I have had the pleasure over the past almost 2 years of reconnecting with Mrs. Parsons. And believe me, she said to me finally, Mrs. Parsons sounds so formal. You'll have to call me Judy. So once I got over that hurdle, I have enjoyed many, many wonderful times with Judy over the past 2 years, reminding her of things that happened in the class, telling her what an inspiration she was to me as a 14-year-old, continues to be as a 68-year-old. And she did remind me that I don't look quite the same. That's okay. She does. That's the thing. She does. She looks remarkable. She is remarkable. And I'm just so grateful that we've had so many wonderful times together, Judy, and looking forward to many more together.
Oh, well, I thank you. Kyle has turned out to be my very best chauffeur, companion, the
Thank you.
works. And
Thank
if
you. It's a
COVID
pleasure.
is ever over, we'll hit the restaurants again.
That's right. Will do.
Be good.
Will do.
All right. Thanks, Kyle.
You're welcome. And you remember me, Meg?
I do.
Do you really?
We were in the same class, I think, because I'm 68 as well. I think.
Really? Okay.
Oh my God.
I graduated in 1970.
Yeah, so did I.
Yeah. Well,
what was your name? Your last name before?
In Hall.
Hall.
Yeah. You know, I left. I didn't graduate with the class. I went to Mr. Thurston for 11th and 12th grades.
Okay.
So
interesting. Yeah.
But
Yes.
I remember you.
Small world. That's good to see you.
Good to see you too.
Thank you.
Oh, two of my very best students, I might add. I think they both made straight A's the whole way through.
I'm not sure. Maybe I had a B thrown in here or there, Judy, but thank you.
Megan was very good also.
Yes, I was. And
You were.
you taught me how to diagram sentences, which most other people don't like. I love doing that. It's almost like code breaking. And
I loved it too.
yeah, and I'm now called a grammar Nazi, which is fitting, I think, in the circumstances.
What are you doing? You were doing all kinds of writing for Hollywood and all sorts of things.
Well, yes, I wrote for a long time, and I wrote for the Learning Research and Development Center at Pitt about cognitive science. And then I retired, and now I paint.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, I'm having a wonderful time. Retirement is a great, great time.
Yes.
You probably know that.
So, well, I enjoy it.
Me too.
I enjoy it.
I see that Jess Burke has her hand up.
Uh-oh.
Hi. Hi. Hi, I was fortunate enough to grow up next to Judy. She was like a surrogate grandmother to me, and we got to see her this weekend, but my daughter Madeline wanted to wish her a happy birthday. You say happy birthday? Happy birthday. Do you want to sing or no? I want to sing. Go ahead, sing. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Judy. Happy birthday to you. Blow out the candles, Judy. I said blow out the candles, Judy.
Oh, thank you so much.
We just want to say hi and we love you. Say hi, Lila.
Hi, Lila. Oh.
We love you. I hope you're having a great day, Judy.
Oh, your father's here too, you know, Jesse.
Oh, we saw him in the background earlier.
Yeah.
See if we can find him. Where is he?
Well, here, I'll.
I think it's off.
He
brought the wine, of course. Oh, there we go.
Yes, he did.
There's Grandpa.
He brought champagne and great piles of candy.
Oh, good. Sorry for missing it, but I'm glad we got to see you this weekend at least. You say hi? Hi, Papa. Hi. Well, we just wanted to wish you a happy birthday.
Thank you so much. Thank you for the card and everything.
Yeah.
The Prandtle's cake, that was good.
Oh,
too.
yeah. Can't go wrong with Prandtle's burnt almond torte.
Oh.
All right, say bye to Papa. Say bye to Judy. Say happy birthday.
Bye-bye.
We just wanted to say hi.
Love you, girl.
Where's Amelia?
Oh, Amelia. Well, she's running around without her shirt on, so I don't know.
Oh. Good night. Thank you, girls.
Okay. Say bye, Judy. Enjoy the rest of your birthday.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
iPad number 5.
iPad number 5. I just wanted to say happy birthday from Naperville, Illinois. Recently retired Navy JAG. I just wanted to say thank you for paving the way for those of us that followed. Certainly my life would have been far different had you not served when you served. And I just want to say happy birthday. I don't believe you're 100. This is my first time with this group. And we did have the pleasure, my husband's also a naval officer, to live in Pittsburgh for a couple of years while he attended female. And And I hope to be back because it was just an amazing, amazing city.
It's a good city. It really is. I like it here. It's a great place to live. Where do you live now?
We live in Naperville, Illinois, which is just outside of Chicago.
Oh.
So happy birthday from the Chicago area.
Oh, thank you.
Maybe sometime on our way back to Virginia, we could maybe perhaps stop and say hello and have a cup of coffee.
That would be lovely.
That would be lovely.
I would like that.
I would enjoy that too. But anyway, happy birthday and many more.
Thank you.
And thank you for joining us. And if you ever want to, you or your husband ever want to join us on our Zoom events from Naperville, we'd love to have you. Julia is with us almost every single program. We do 3 live programs a week, Monday night, Wednesday morning, Thursday night, sometimes Tuesday night. And we just have veterans come and share stories, talk about their service. I ask a lot of stupid questions because I'm not a veteran. You know, I'll ask like, what is a JAG? And you'll have to answer me. And it's a heck of a lot of fun. And Julia joins us almost all the time. Julia, you've probably joined us as much as anybody over the past year on our Zoom events.
Well, for a 99-year-old with nothing to do and locked in as we were the whole year, pardon me, that was the best thing that could have happened to me. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Oh, terrific.
So I said, I don't know most of the people, but I do recognize them when I see them.
Yeah, it's amazing how you could get to know people just, you know, in this platform. And
I was surprised to see Warren Goss today. He's up in his 90s, but I don't know how far.
Warren is 96.
96. I couldn't remember. I knew he was one of the younger ones.
Yes, he was one of the younger ones. Exactly. Now, let me share a quick story about the Veterans Breakfast Club. When we first started in 2008, we started in a hotel ballroom nearby in the South Hills of Pittsburgh here with 30 World War II veterans. And we just started passing the microphone and having them share stories. And for the first few months, you know, the veterans who shared their stories were, at that time in 2008, they were in their 80s. And you know, there were stories of you know, ordinary seamen, privates in the infantry. And the oldest man of the group, Bernie Cano, and you may have seen him on TV in the news. He died a few years ago at age 102. He was in the news because he was the oldest living Eagle Scout, and he received an award from President Obama for it the day before he died. And he had, as his Eagle Scout project, it was driving a Rio speed wagon from Manhattan to San Francisco with other Eagle Scouts. But anyhow, he came up to me after our first several Veterans Breakfast Club events, and he said, "Why do you just have all the young guys talking?" And these are guys in their 80s. And he said it was us old guys who were too old for the front lines. We were doing the research back home that guaranteed that they would be able to win those battles at the front. And he was, you know, he was so old that he remembered World War I. He was so old that he was he was a professor of metallurgy at Columbia University. And he came and talked about the research he did at Dahlgren Proving Ground as a Navy commander with alloys and you know, how shell casings and what kind of armor Navy ships had to have. And it was absolutely fascinating. And the other story that he told was how he recommended, he knew in 1943, he saw, just reading the news, that B-17s were exploding in the air. And he knew that it's because the oxygen tanks were not armored. And so he wrote a 70-page memorandum to the Army as a Navy commander, recommending that they armor their oxygen tanks. And I think it just struck me a couple things was that kind of work that was being done behind the scenes during the war, and is always being done and all the time in the military, behind the scenes, people don't see it. And you know, and how these stories are everywhere, that they're all around us. Bernie Cano lived a mile away from me. You know, he's somebody I would have seen in the grocery store. And so I tell people, I told my daughters growing up, you know, if you see a veteran, you know, an older person, you know, out, think about the stories that they have, that they carry around with them. And it's our job to kind of coax those stories out of them. And Julia, thank you. I'm just so grateful that you've been willing to be coaxed into sharing a story that you really weren't able to share for 50 years. Now I want to see if, what that makes me think. So now who is, after Julia, who's the next veteran to turn 100? Who do we have here? Let's see here. We have Vic DiCarlo. Hey, Vic. How are you, Vic? It's good to see you. Vic DiCarlo, a member of the 80th Infantry Division. He was a demolition man in World War II. Let's see if you could unmute yourself there. I hope you can. Let's see. I'm guessing Vic might be 96. We should take a poll. Leo, West, you have a long way to go. You're only 90.
92.
You're 92?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah, Vic, you should be able to tap unmute. Okay, if we can get Vic. You work on it whenever you get unmuted. Let's see here. John DeLallo. Yeah, he's a Civil War veteran, so.
What'd you say?
Nothing, John. Nothing.
Which war? You think I'm not paying attention over
I
there?
did. I'm just making sure you're awake. That's all. That's all I'm doing.
Can I share something that was priceless today? One of the fellows, I have no idea what station or what radio he was with, and he came up and he asked Julia. He said, Julia, how are you? What do you think about all the accolades you're getting today, and the parade and so on and so forth? Julia paused just momentarily, looked him right in the face, and says, "Well, it's nice, but I wish I was younger."
That is priceless.
And the guy just stopped talking. Julia, your remark to that guy was incredible.
I'm sorry?
I said your remark to that fellow that asked you, how are you enjoying the day? I wish I was younger. I'm thinking you stuffed him dead in his tracks.
Oh, so it was nice seeing you, though.
Oh, I get around.
Kevin Koch on Facebook sends his greetings. We had a woman say that she's a Navy cryptographer, and you are an inspiration in her work every day. She says that. A lot of tributes.
I've lost him. So.
A lot of tributes pouring in. Does anybody else have anything they want to say? Vic, hey Vic, you're with us. How are you?
Okay, how are you?
Good. Good to see you.
I wanted to say happy birthday to Julia. We sat together at the Sheridan Club. We were at the same table in 2019.
Oh, for our gala, for the Veterans Practice Club gala.
Yeah.
That's right, at the Sheraton Station Square.
Right. We sat at the same table and we had quite a discussion, and I want to wish her a happy birthday.
Wonderful.
Yes. Was a wonderful person.
Thank you. Am I on?
Yes, you are.
Oh.
Yes, I can see you.
Okay. That night they said there were 50-some, Todd said there were 50-some 90-year-olds. No, World War II people, that was it.
That was it.
How many of those are still with us?
Oh. Yeah, we lost quite a few this year. It's
Did
been a
we?
hard year.
Because I haven't heard of any of them. That's why I was wondering if everybody was lucky enough to keep living. It's just.
Well, you have 5 years on me. I'll be 95 this month also.
Oh, you were there with your wife?
I was there at your table. I talked to you.
Well, when
Yes.
there were two men there. One was with his daughter and one was with his wife.
That's right. That was with my wife. And Dawn Rucker was there. With
Yeah,
us too.
yeah.
Right.
she is great too. She really is. We had a wonderful evening. That was a great party, and I don't know why Todd didn't do it this year.
Well, I don't know. We can't seem to get out.
And you know, Vic, we want to feature you on Greatest Generation Live. General Edmonds, Jan, would love to have you on also. Please, you know, I'll be bugging you about that. Many of you, if I have your contact information, we'd love to have your stories. Just come on and share a little bit. You know, it could be for 5 minutes. It could be for 45 minutes. We just want to, you know, be able to hear a little slice of what your experience in the military has been. George Kniss, you have your hand raised. Hold on. Let's unmute yourself there.
Can you hear me?
Hey, how you doing, George?
Okay. Just happy birthday, Julia.
Thank you.
You sounded very serious at one point, talking about the victims of the work you did, of the lost lives of the German sailors.
Yes.
And I was struck by that. My question is, did you ever meet any Germans later on that this might have come up as a subject, even if it was in the back of your mind, of the, you know, the human background of this, when you meet an enemy in later years that you conflicted with in the past? That's always a theme that's kind of struck me.
Yeah, yeah.
And making them either way.
I did meet one German submarine skipper. I did not remember his name, but this was after the war, maybe 20, 30 years. And the Enigma secret was still a secret. So I never did talk to him, but I knew who he was. He had married a friend of mine. And I thought, as soon as this thing is declassified, I'm going to look him up. And unfortunately, it was
too late.
It was too late.
Yeah.
By the time I got around to it, it was gone. What I didn't know is that the Enigma information had been declassified about 30 years before that. And we were never notified. The Navy said their excuse was that they didn't keep track of where people went after the war, after their service. So they had no idea where anybody was to let them know. But I never heard it. I never saw it in the papers. I never knew anything about it being declassified.
Right, right.
So I couldn't talk about it to this man that I met, who turned out to be an usher in the church that I was in.
Wow.
And one day he walked me to my seat, and I thought I would so love to discuss with him how he felt about the whole thing. But I couldn't, because I thought it was still a classified secret, and it wasn't, but that's one of the breaks. And by the time I knew it wasn't, and I ran into him again, I never did run into him again. It was too late. He had died.
Yeah.
So.
Well, let me ask you, have you really turned the page on this guilt and that you had at one time, or thoughts about it? Have you settled that as an issue? I mean,
it still lingers on mostly. As I was telling everybody a while back, when I got on the submarine, what is it, the Pittsburgh, the Requiem?
Right.
The thing with my grandchildren, I couldn't wait to get off. I kept thinking, this is the sort of thing they were all in this capsule, sealed, only they were underwater, of course.
Right.
And it really bothered me. I just can't imagine how anyone could go into submarine service. But the people I knew who were in it said that they got paid an extra $50 a month.
Right.
$50 a month to get in a submarine.
Yeah, I have a brother-in-law who's a retired submariner, and he tells me the stories. And you know, on the American side, also, I'm sure you reflect.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. But you've settled that issue. You're well with your war effort, and even with the losses and everything like that. that's good with you. It's okay. You fought in a war like we all do in one way or shape or form.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
it's
there were two submariners killed in my class from Carnegie Tech when I went. Paul Wines and Joe Pash were both killed in submarines. Nobody ever heard of them again. That was total loss. So it goes both ways on that, of course.
So it's on both sides that you have these thoughts and these feelings. Wow.
Yeah, my peers, I guess, or my fellow service people during the war thought I was crazy, but I just kept thinking of these young German sailors who were lost forever. There've been so many books written about them too that are so interesting. I've eaten those up. They are really good.
Yeah.
Hey, iPhone, I know that you want to say a few words. I can't recognize who you are, but I know that your name is iPhone. Let's see. Why don't you unmute yourself there?
Can you hear me?
There we go.
Okay, yeah. Hey, my name's Andrew Wissick. I just joined on this. It's so cool. I'm on the Facebook group. Miss Julia, it's an honor and a privilege to wish you a happy birthday. It's incredible.
Thank you.
My name's Andrew Wissick. I'm very involved in, I don't know if you've ever heard of the battleship USS North Carolina in World War II. Survived a lot. It's a museum down there now. And also, I'm very active in the Montford Point Marines Association. Don't know how familiar you are with them. They were the first Black Marines. Don't know if you ever heard of them.
No, I haven't.
Okay, well, that's great. You know what? It's great because I'd love to have you. I'd love to, be able to fill you in with some more stuff. Obviously, I'm just here to wish you a happy birthday.
Well, thank you.
I just thought I'd say that too, and thanks everyone here too for having me. It's an incredible honor. I'm just here, and I've got this stuff, and but it's anybody who knows me knows that I'm really at a loss for words. But this is so incredible, and it's such an honor, man. I thank you for
thank you.
being served.
Maybe you should talk to Todd about being on the program sometime.
Exactly.
Sounds interesting.
Just what I was about to say. Andrew, send me an email, todd@veteransbreakfastclub.org. I'd love to have you come
absolutely.
on. Great, wonderful, terrific. And we have Anna and Stephanie.
Hi, I think Henry was ahead of us, but hi, Judy.
Oh,
Happy birthday. So good to see you.
Nice to see you.
Hi,
Stephanie.
This has been so lovely, and oh my goodness, we're so happy to be here. We're both CMU grads. We're not veterans at all, but so many wonderful things about you, Judy. And I loved cutting your grass when I was a kid, and I still love talking to you now. And you just look great as always. And I'm shouting out to my parents, Elizabeth and Pat, who are on this call too. I know they love you so much as well. And you're my honorary grandmother. And mwah.
Oh, thank you. Did you see the car they filled up with the cake on it and 100?
So amazing. I know. You deserve that cake and every possible cake. So happy birthday. And we can't wait to be able to visit again. We're really looking forward to being able to come by as soon as we can.
Absolutely. Anytime. Good night.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Henry Shepke.
Hello. Julia, I just wanted to say that I know a U-boat veteran. He's a German U-boat veteran, and I recently received a letter and some stuff from him. If you wanted, I could try to put you in contact with him if you wanted.
That would be interesting.
All right,
You suppose maybe he wouldn't want, but it would be interesting to talk to one.
Yeah, well, I'd have to ask him. I'll send you an email if you want.
All right, fine. Thank you.
We've got to get him hooked up on Zoom. That would be terrific. Could you imagine? Oh my gosh, that'd be so neat. All right, that's my 2021 goal there, to get Julia with the U-boat veteran on Zoom. That'd be terrific. Do we have any other tributes? feel free to speak up. Before we end, I thought I would share just some pictures of Julia, in case there are some people here who don't know much about her service. Here she is. She was a Navy Wave. I guess this was taken after graduation from boot camp, Julia, after your commissioning?
Yeah, I was already working then. It has to be because I have my honorary insignia there that I would not have had before graduation. I was taken in Washington, so it had to be when I was working there.
Okay. And here's a great picture this is your husband?
Yes. Oh, we look so young.
So young. He was Army. How did you meet?
We met at a party in Oklahoma. He was from Oklahoma, and his whole class from college was getting their commission the next day. And the Oklahoma Society in Washington decided they wanted to have a party for the boys. There must have been about 40, 50 of them, something like that. And they called the wave quarters and said, were there any waves there from Oklahoma? Would they like to come to a party? And there was only one, and she had there was nobody else, but she didn't want to go alone. So we all went with her, and with our assorted Pittsburgh accents and New England accents, but nobody questioned. We just went. It was a gorgeous mansion in Washington somewhere. Never could find it again. But that was the night that I met him, and I pretended I was from Oklahoma. And I picked a little town in Oklahoma, Duncan, Oklahoma, for some reason, I don't know why. And the first thing he asked was, did I know somebody, Bill Smith, from Duncan, Oklahoma? And then I had to start lying. And I should have picked a big city like Oklahoma City or Tulsa, but I didn't. But anyway, he always claimed that our marriage was based on false pretenses. And so it was not valid. And I said, good, he could take the children and go. And that was.
He called his bluff.
So that was the end. We hung out for 62 years. So that was pretty good.
Oh, that's amazing. And you could see he was an engineer, right?
Yes, he was a civil engineer.
Boy, what a good story. You crashed his party. You pretended to be from Oklahoma. And I saw this in your stuff here, Julia.
Yes, I love the price of that. That was a round trip fare between Washington and Pittsburgh. And it was $13.40. And that was the old Pennsylvania Central Airlines that became Capital, I think it was. And then Capital became something else. And then they all went bankrupt, I guess. I don't know what happened to them.
So
that was my first airplane ride. There's no date on it, is there?
There is not a date.
There might have been down below and that stuff, but I don't know what it was. But anyway, I did manage to find this ticket, and I thought that was just amazing. Not only did you only pay $13.40, but they picked you up at your house with a limousine, and there was no charge for that. But anybody who flew on the airlines got a limousine ride to the airport in Washington, D.C., the old National Airport. Many, many, many years ago. And that's me.
Here? Is this you or this you?
This one, right?
Yep.
Yep. Whoops. Right
That's
there.
it.
Yeah.
That's it. Okay. That's it.
Back when I was thinner. So that's my college graduation picture.
Okay.
So, where did you get all these?
I got some of this from Scott Masters. I saw that his
students,
and I think these arrows are something that his students used. Is this you?
This is me here. This was our wedding pictures outside of the reception. We were all leaving then with some friends that were there. So.
Oh my. And are you're in
this was in Boston. This is me here.
Always the tallest one.
Always the tallest one. And you had to wear gloves when you were outside?
I'm sorry?
Did you have to wear gloves?
All the time. That was one of the stipulations that everybody stood in. You couldn't be putting them on as you went out. You had to have them on before you went out. Every button buttoned, and the strap had to be just so on the purse, the cross chest purse had to be just so. It was, but the gloves were the thing I remember because, of course, one wearing and they were ready for the wash again. So we all had whole drawers full of white gloves that we had to wear. We were at Smith, went from to Boston from Smith College. Then you can tell by the insignia up there that we were all just midshipmen. Then we were not officers.
Right, right. Oh, and this is where you were. This is the Naval Communication Annex, the former.
This is the Enigma Machine, and I'm not sure what that is. You know, that's the school that the Navy commandeered to make the communications annex where we all worked. It was a former girls' school, but it was just this much then. All this is new since I was there.
Just a square then.
Which is many, many years also.
And it's still being used by the NSA, I think, or Homeland Security.
As far as I know, it's still there. They still have the barbed wire fences around it. They still have the Marine Guards. They still have all the huge antennas. So I'm assuming they're still trying to decode other countries' messages. Yeah. It's there. And this was the first computer, which just amazes me, because now all of this information you can put in a wristwatch plus a million other facts.
Yeah.
It is just amazing. But this was the original, the Alan Turing's team put together this computer.
Yes, it's really.
And that was in 1943, I believe, that they started the 42 or 43.
You've said before that you didn't work on these machines and you were glad
I
of
didn't
it.
know. The innocent girls did the code work, the machine work.
Right.
They somehow put numbers together and put them in the machine, and the machine spat out all possible ways that the messages of the day could be broken using one of these things. We sent them what we thought the message said, and they sent us what the machine said. And sometimes we were right, and most times we were wrong. But it was interesting. It was a fascinating to do. But we had whole banks of these machines in the basement of the building, and everybody used them. This wasn't just the German section. My roommate was in the Japanese section, and there were several other sections in the communications annex also, and I'm sure there still are. So
and these ran very hot and they were loud, I think.
Hot and loud. And these girls were locked in for 8 hours in the basement room, no windows, no nothing, just this miserable noise and heat. And they had no idea what they were doing. No, they knew what they were doing, but they had no idea where it went after they did their job.
Right, right. And I like to tell people that today's iPhone has 4 billion times the computing power of this machine.
Gosh, 4 billion times.
There were 180 of these machines, these bombs in operation, and the sum total of their computing power used during the war equals the power it takes to play 10 seconds of a YouTube video on your iPhone.
Wow.
Just to give you a sense of how far we've come. Just amazing.
But to think they could take that huge machine and put it in and add 4 billion times.
Yeah,
Jeez.
Just amazing.
That's amazing.
Well, I know, boy, we've put you through the ringer today and tonight, Julia. Thank you so much for hanging in there and answering all our questions. And thanks to all of you who came out tonight to pay tribute to this remarkable American, a real pioneer, a real hero. Thanks for putting up with us, Julia.
Oh, thank you for putting up with me. I've enjoyed it thoroughly. You know that.
Jim Roberts, did you have something you wanted to say? Oh, you're just waving. Okay. All right. Hey, and I do want to let people know, please do join us if you're available tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock. It's the same Zoom address. We'll be here, talking about all kinds of veteran stories. I have questions for our veterans. Everybody's welcome to join us. Please do. If you can't join us tomorrow morning, Thursday night, we'll be back. Or anytime, just go to veteransbreakfastclub.org. Thank you all. Good night. Happy 100th, Julia. Take care.
Oh, thank you so much, Todd. I loved
Happy
the whole
birthday.
bit. Very nice.
Happy
Thank
birthday,
you.
Julia.
Thank you.
Happy birthday. Happy
Thank
birthday,
you.
Julia.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. Thank
Happy
you
birthday.
all.
Happy birthday, Julia. Happy birthday. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Julia, from St. Lucia.
Good night.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Oh, happy birthday, Mary.
Happy birthday, dear lady.
Bye-bye.
Love you. Good night.
Yeah.
Oh, dear. There's Libby, his daughter.
Yes, cute.
Oh, dear.